That's enough of that. Friggin' what? Oh my god, friggin' what? Frig what? This could literally go anywhere because I've just had a pint of the good old Weston's Vintage Cider 8.2%. I've got another one cracked, which I'm going to get back to in a minute after a long day without anything to eat in my belly for tea time. Anything could literally happen. But yeah, I had some good responses on the last FunDaySunday where we did the lager. So if you haven't seen that before you've come to watch this video, I will leave in the description below a link to that video. Go and watch it first and then come back to this video because it'll make a bit more sense. FunDaySunday lager time. So summer is approaching, as we said, and yeah, I want something nice to sort of sip on and waste the sunny days away of the summer, you know what I mean? But I filmed it in a bit of a relaxed way and I edited it the same. Sometimes doing a brew day, unless you're doing something different that's sort of something you've not done before or something new, a brew day's a brew day, you know what I mean? All the hops look the same, all the grains look the same, and the process is pretty much the same. So I thought I'll just edit it up with some music over it, just nice easy viewing for people. And when you're talking to people, I was talking to Harry all day, and if you've got people around, you don't want to tell them to shut up, just shut while you talk to the camera. So I just thought I'll just let the GoPro roll and I'll sort the editing out later, and it worked out well, and thanks for the response, thanks for the thumbs up, really means a lot. So yeah, I got a few questions on the last video, so I thought I'd sort of do a recap video today, run through the recipe because I didn't run through the recipe, and run through a bit of what's happening in the brewery at the minute. So the recipe for Tom's Vienna Lager. Now, I said that I brewed this up last year, and it wasn't. It was actually the year before. And I had the fermentation chamber just here in the doorway. This is before I went all electric. It was just an insulated box with a fish tank heater in some water that was set to the whatever temperature I'd got it set at, with a thermometer in it that was reading the temps. And it worked well. I was really impressed that it worked as well as it did. And when I did the lager, I had to wait, obviously, until the ambient temperatures in here were down to sort of 12-13 degrees. So I couldn't brew it until the back end of October, when the ambient temperature in here was 12 degrees, and it kept a sort of constant 12 degrees in the insulated sort of box that I'd made. Well, I don't have to wait till October now. Now I've got the fermentation fridge all set up. I can put that lager, if I do it again, I can do one in the middle of summer if I want, when it's 20 odd degrees. I know that it will ferment at the temperature I want to ferment at. So that's what we're doing. We're fermenting the lager at the minute, but let's go through the recipe for this lager. So 2.8 kgs of lager malt went to this lager, as well as the same amount of Vienna malt. There was no mash out step on it. I want it to finish sort of relatively dry. I did something different this time with the electric brewery, and it seemed to work a lot better. I'm still getting used to working with it. It's a whole new sort of beast, and it's taking a lot of time to sort of crack it or get it working so it's really efficient and sort of working well for me. But what I used to do on the previous brews using the electric brewery is I would fill up the HLT, get it to mashing temps, which for this recipe was 65 degrees for the full hour, and then I would turn the pump on and I would have it recirculating through the coil which is in the HLT, and I'd set the HLT for 67 degrees, and that extra 2 degrees just allowed for loss of heat going through the pump and through the pipes, and it's sent to maintain a good mashing temperature in the mash tun. But I did something different this time. I got the water to 65 degrees, I mashed in, and then straight away filled up the HLT, and I got the HLT up to sparge temp. So I got it up to 75 degrees Celsius, which is what we sparged with. And I didn't have the pump running the whole time. So what I did was I kept an eye on the probe for the mash tun, and as soon as it dropped a degree, I just flicked the pump on, and literally within 10-15 seconds that degree that we'd lost was back up and it was fine. And then I turned the pump off because the water in the hot liquor tank is already sort of so much hotter than the mash. It was just taking that heat straight out the HLT and banging it straight back into the mash. Now, I suppose doing it that way you have to be in here keeping an eye on it, but where do you go during a mash? You don't start mashing and then bugger off out. You'll be in here having a drink, you'll be talking to people, you might have people around, and so you just keep an eye on it while you're doing other stuff, preparing for the boil and whatnot. So that works really well. Now the advantages to doing this is, firstly, it's quicker to get heat back into your mash tun from your coil because the water's so much hotter. Secondly, you haven't got to have a pump running, a noisy pump running for the full hour. Thirdly, if you're doing an IPA or a double IPA or something that requires a mash out step, you can set the HLT to the mash out step, the higher temperatures, and as soon as you are ready to do the mash out, you flick on that pump and within no time you are mashing out. The worst thing that can happen during your mash out, as you know, is waiting for the HLT to get up to temps before you start doing your mash out. And in that time where it starts to get hot enough to do your mash out, you're still converting in your mash tun, and you don't want to do that during the mash out. So someone asked me about the elements for the electric brewery, what I'm using, because they wanted to get set up themselves. Personally, I'm using 2000 watt washing machine elements. When I first set up the HLT, when I was just doing gravity fed brews and making sure the mash tun was well insulated to maintain the temperature, this is before the days of the electric brewery, I had one element in there. Now I have two, and I'm glad of the two because it gets you that temperature up quickly, and when you start a brew day, boom, your full 40 litres, if you're doing like a full HLT, which I do, is up to temperature in no time. It's a lot quicker, and if you're doing them mash out steps and you're wanting to get up to sparge temperatures sort of relatively quickly, the extra element really does sort of boost it up there. And the same for the boil pot. So again, two 2000 watt washing machine elements in the boil pot. Okay, back to the recipe. So we did the mash, no mash out. The mash ran well, kept it sort of constant temperature just by keeping an eye on it, flicking the pump on and off. When it come to sparge, bang, the water was there ready at temperatures. Sparged it, ran it off into the boil pot. The hops that we added to this were two additions of hops. The first addition was Chinook, 37 grams of Chinook for bittering, and then there was a flame out addition or a whirlpool addition, and it should have been East Kent Goldings. Like an idiot, I thought I had some, and I hadn't. So the only hops I had were, I had obviously the Chinook, I had Citra, Amarillo, Simcoe, and Galaxy, I think. So I went with Citra. Now the alpha acids on the Citra are a lot higher than the East Kent Goldings, but at Whirlpool you're not adding any more bitterness, it's just flavour, so I didn't really sort of worry too much about it. So we ended up with 30 grams of Citra for the 30-minute Whirlpool, dropped her down to pitching temps, and got her into the fermenter, and we used Saf Lager yeast S23. I actually pitched 2 packs. I didn't think it made it sort of clear in the last video, but I actually pitched 2 packs, got her into the fermenter, and she's sitting at 13 degrees. Now the old fart, Jim, asked me about this lagering malarkey and brewing up a lager. Now this is the second time I've brewed up a lager, Jim, so I'm by no means an expert or anywhere close to being an expert in brewing up a lager, but I'll just run through how I'm going to ferment it and how I'm going to lager it. Because of the colder temperatures in which you're fermenting, obviously the yeast sort of drops to the bottom, and it's a bottom fermenting yeast, and it's going to take around 2 weeks, I would say, to finish fermenting. And as you saw at the beginning, it's blubbing away, it looks good and healthy, it seems to be doing its thing. So after about 2 weeks I'll check it, and then it's time for a diacetyl rest. So what I'll do is I'll up the temperature to about 18 degrees, just warms everything up, gets the yeast active again, so they clean up after themselves. And then what happens is, each day after that I will drop the temperature a degree or two until I'm down to 4 degrees, and then I will keg it, get it into the kegerator. I'll set the temperature in the kegerator to 4 degrees, and then I will just leave it and just let it lager for as long as I can, about 4 or 6 weeks, and then once it's done I will hook up the gas again and get her on tap. So I hope that's helped. That's what I'm going to do. No expert, like I say, no expert at all, as you can probably guess. But yeah, that's it. So I just thought I'd put this little video out there, just answer a few questions. It's saved me sitting down and typing stuff up because I'm having some problems with the GoPro at the minute. Friggin' Mac. Apple has dicked me over big time. Did a software upgrade, the new Yosemite or Yosemite or whatever it's frigging called, the latest edition, installed this new software, Photo, and now when I plug the GoPro in and try and sort of get files off the GoPro, it tries to import them, and then after like 10 minutes it says error, unreadable data on the GoPro. So I'm going to try a few things. I did try the SD card in there for this camera, the Nikon, and it picked it up straight away. So whether it's a DICT micro SD card, I don't know, but I'm going to send Abby down to Maplin's tomorrow and get a USB stick that you can put the mini SD card in and see if that works. And if that works, then brilliant. If not, then I'm going to have to look into probably getting a new micro SD card, which sucks. I'm going to take it back and say, you sons of bitches. But yeah, I hope that helps, guys, and I hope that clears a few things up. And if there's any more questions, yeah, leave them below, and I might do another video of questions. I might do a Q&A video. Who knows? If there's enough questions in, or if you want to send me a question, if I get enough, I might do a Q&A video. Who knows? Anyway, guys, that's enough rambling from me. So, as always, don't forget to thumb up this video, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share the video, it really does help. Keeps us doing what we want to do. And that's it, guys. So, pinky out, and I'll see you soon.